Welcome to another edition of Stories from the Edge. I am your host, Esco. I've got with me Ed Soo sitting in the hot seat, ready to go, ready to share another one with us. Ed, you've got a lot of stories from your many different lives, your many different roles, the many different hats that you used to wear. Have you come across situations where it just wasn't working out, and it was a longer term play than you were expecting, and there's a little bit of frustration because in every situation you've painted for us so far, you're calm, cool, collected. It looks like you got your game together. Has there ever been points of frustration?
Yeah, there has. Yeah, and it's really interesting. This kind of segues into the title of this story, which is called entitled "Bongo the Chimp."
Oh, great. Lay it on me.
Yeah, and people ask me now, what kind of
Yeah.
story would you ever have around
Yeah.
a title called "Bongo the Chimp"? So this is a story around my frustration and challenge around employee or workplace efficiency.
Okay.
And it's really fascinating. So there are three E's in workplace efficiency. And they are in empathy,
Okay.
engagement, and empowerment. Now,
Empathy, engagement, and empowerment.
yeah, so there are some very interesting dynamics. So back in 1977, I was just starting my career in the trade, high tech, right? It was a small ISV based in West Lebanon, New Hampshire, near Dartmouth College. So,
Dartmouth.
yeah, so we provided two solutions. Timeshare on a mainframe to process invoice statements, microfiche of the day, as well as selling a turnkey mini computer system running on an IBM 8100 and a Wang Computer VS virtual system. And these servers had intelligent IOP input-output processors, dri uh, driving workstations, printers, storage, networking, and compute solutions for an industry
Right.
of wholesaler and distributors for magazines and paperback books. Their customers were retailers, grocery stores, supermarkets, and bookstores. So we provided this intelligent distribution of products, right? Inventory, accounts payable, accounts receivable, warehouse solutions, and people who just wanted to run their company on their own systems. My previous job before this ISV was I actually came from the industry.
Oh, okay.
You have to listen to a story titled Truck 73 to know that, but I'll tell you that one.
That's another time.
Yeah. So I knew this industry inside out and was able to talk the language of the buyers and the employees and their customers. So the role that I had in the business was to be in charge of all distribution of all periodicals, magazines like People Weekly, National Enquirer, tabloids, everything, to over 500 customers in the Oakland Bay Area in their job before I became an ISV. Distribution was critical to the
Yeah.
efficiencies and the profitability of that business. Publishers all wanted all their products distributed all at the same time, but not all of it was sold in the stores and then had to be returned back to the warehouse. An example of Esquire magazine, 50,000 copies. We had to distribute efficiently that volume of Esquire magazine so that we would not have to touch it too much in the warehouse, deliver it, then have to bring it back. So there was a
Right.
lot of efficiencies that we had to ensure proper handling of all the units, etc. So to distribute it properly, we had a very complex set of algorithms to create the distribution volumes to the right product, to the right store. And that system was called Jack.
Did you know, Jack?
Yeah. So Jack was our secret sauce in the distribution business. Jack knew to a T that specific retailer X sold Y number of copies of Esquire in November, December, and January, and the amount that he would predict for the month of February would then be the factor of Z. Jack was a great guy. Big red nose after lunch, smart as heck.
Right.
So knowing Jack, we developed and automated the calculation to speed up Jack, and we decided to clone Jack into a program.
Okay.
In the
There you
good old
go.
yeah, in the good old days, Jack filled out the distribution sheets. We would key punch the allotments, transmit the changes to the mainframe for invoices, etc. But the ISV that I went to work for figured out how to put Jack in the box, the committee computer. And the industry started to automate distribution and returns more efficiently. So it was a very fascinating story, right? So why am I telling you this part of the story, and how does it relate to Bongo the Chimp?
I was like Bongo the Chimp, three E's, and Jack. All right.
So when I sold the solutions to the wholesaler, operations had a return department filled with employees to handle the returns coming back from the store brought in by the drivers, which I was one. The return department would take each return, scan every magazine into the system, and then scan the barcodes, which was the size of an aircraft carrier in the day, right? Connected to a workstation and a printer, a whole new set of processes. The return information, dealer number had to be entered correctly, et cetera, et cetera. The
Right.
operator had to scan each item. These are new processes and techniques that the warehouse had to learn. Simple. How hard can it be? So my head coming from the industry, and having worked in the return department as well, it was easy for me to be that part of the instructor. After I sold the system and installed the systems, I was tasked to teach and train the staff on the new process, change
Right. Right.
management, and behavior. So bear in
Right.
mind, not one of the warehouse group of operators ever saw a computer, a workstation, a keyboard, a green screen,
Yeah,
or
it wasn't their. It wasn't their thing. Right.
let alone how to enter that into a keyboard. So seems like I was the perfect person not only to sell, but to install, train, and troubleshoot, so et cetera. But with that said, the first E of efficiency is empathy. And what I mean is, so now I'm a rookie trainer. I was in Lubbock, Texas, with a new client. I was with my colleague, Ernie from Asheville, North Carolina. Asheville, not Asheville. Ernie is my lead and was helping me gain my experience on how to train accounts and so on. So I wasn't really sure why Ernie was there because I knew this industry inside out. So I
Right.
was just kind of, humoring Ernie. So Ernie sits in the break room and I said, "Hey, I'm going to go out and handle training, Ernie. You just relax. I got this." Ernie just smiles. Really nice guy from the South. And in retrospect, that smile was a sly smile, kind of like, okay, we'll see how you do. So I went out in the warehouse, right? There was this woman standing there ready to learn how to do returns. I'm trying to teach her how to scan returns. Turn on the workstation, enter the dealer info, start scanning, hold the magazines right, scan the barcodes, and it wasn't going well. I wasn't reading her body language at all because I was so focused on being the trainer, right, and knowing my stuff that I was ignoring how she was feeling and what her body language was. So I was getting impatient and I was intimidating to the point where she froze.
Oh wow.
She just stopped. I had this, I saw her look of rolling her eyes, and she did not grasp the concept nor the techniques at all. Within 10 minutes, she just stopped, just stood there, crossed her arms across her chest, and shook her head. Didn't say a thing, pretty much PO'd, dead
So
stop.
you lost.
Yeah. She just, you just look at her and you could see her. I am not doing this. So I got so frustrated because I had all the knowledge and skill. Why wasn't she learning from me? She wouldn't receive. I was transmitting, but she was not receiving. So I go back in the break room and I slam my clipboard down. It clatters to the floor. Ernie looks up and calmly said, "What's the matter, Ed? You okay?" I said, "Ernie, that person is absolutely useless. I could teach Bongo the Chimp to do a better job." Ernie just walked over to me and calmly said, "Ed, it's not her fault." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You're teaching her something new. She's never done or seen before. You know that,
Right.
right?" I go, "Yeah. Well, she does." And he goes, "And it's not her fault. It's your attitude." I said, "Yeah, look, there's no way anyone can teach her to do that job properly."
Yeah.
And Ernie goes, "All
Super
right,
low.
I get it." He goes, "Tell you what, you sit here, have a cup of coffee and a donut. Let me give it a try." Yeah, 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 yeah. Go ahead. Good luck, right? Ernie saunters out, comes back 20 minutes later. I finish my coffee and then this lemon filled donut. I love lemon filled donuts. So Ernie comes back in the break room. I look up and Ernie crooks his finger to me and said, "Come here. I want to show you something." I follow Ernie out, and lo and behold, there's the woman scanning away, lickety split, happy as a lark. I go, huh. Ernie said, it's not how much you know and how you teach, it's more how you teach. You scared the heck out of her.
Right.
And she could not hear you nor be efficient because you froze her. This is not how you train, period.
Right.
So, lesson learned, I lacked empathy. I learned a lot later, got better. I realized I was not in her shoes, I was in her head. I messed her up royally. So, efficiency and so on. The second E is engagement. I'm selling a new picking system for the warehouse line. Digital displays over every magazine, every picker can pick the right amount. It reduces errors and time to pick orders, etc. I'm this, hard charging computer guy walking in a warehouse. I set up the system in the warehouse, ready to train the warehouse team. They're filled with Teamsters, knuckle dragging blue collar Teamsters, of which I used to be.
Right.
They took one look at me, this little guy, and decided, yeah, we're not going to listen to you. We're not even going to use the system. Not interested. We know our job. Get out of here. And I'm looking around. I said, look, I get it. I said, I said, you know what? Who's the best picker in the group? They're like, what? Why? I said, if I can beat your best picker without the system, will you listen to me and use my systems? They said, yeah, right. I said, now, if I lose, I'll take the system with me and I go home. But if I win, you listen. And they said, yeah. I said, deal? They said, yeah. I said, who's your best picker? They said, Joe. Joe's our best picker. I said, all right, Joe, you go first. We use the same order, the same section. And if I beat your time, we're good, right?
And you've never picked there before, right?
Nope, never have. But in the past, I used to pick, right? So the
Right,
previous,
well, yeah, but still, it's still different. You still
yeah,
mapped out different.
it's
Yeah.
it's a different section, right? So I said, hey, Joe, you go first. You're up. Now, the reason I had him go first is so that I could memorize the order of the pick. So I was memorizing the pick order as Joe was starting his section. So Joe started and we were timing him. He finished in 38 seconds. When he finished, he clapped his hand. He goes, whoa, done. I say, wow, 38 seconds. That's pretty impressive, Joe. All right, Joe, it's my turn. 38 seconds, right? And they said, yeah. I said, all right. You know, Joe, I'm not going to just beat 38 seconds, right? I'm not just going to beat you. I'm going to bury you. I said, timer, start the clock now. He goes, what? I said, start it now. He started, and I said, I counted off 5 seconds, 1001, 1002. I got to 1005. I said, Joe, I just spotted you 5 seconds. Now I'm going to beat you. I finished the pick and yelled out, time. Clapped my hand. I said, what is it? Timer said, 30 seconds. I looked at Joe. I said, Joe, I spotted you 5 seconds and I still beat you by 3. I know what I'm doing. And I know I can help you all here. So you all want to listen to me now? All of them to a T said, all yours, man. Lesson learned.
Nice.
Lesson learned on the E, engagement. How do you engage?
Right.
Right? The final E is empowerment. Our biggest client in North America, Edmonton, Canada, way up there, right? A, and large number of employees in the return room, 70. And I had to train them. The owner came out and asked, how are you going to train all 70? We don't have a training room. I said, yeah, no worry. I said, who's the smartest person in the warehouse? He goes, oh, you mean the foreman? I said, no, the smartest. And he goes, oh, that would be Sally. I said, bring Sally over. I said, Sally, you and I are going to go off on an adventure. She goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to teach you how to run this system. She goes, really? I said, this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to teach you 3 things. As soon as you feel comfortable and you master the 3 things, I want you to pick a person in the line, in the warehouse, that you teach them the 3 things. And then when you're done teaching them, you come back to me. And the person that you taught goes and picks someone. She goes, oh. So we started this process, kind of a leapfrog.
Right.
Within 3 hours, all 20 stations were humming along. And it was fascinating because I'm walking around the warehouse answering questions, and someone came up to, and I have a question about the return. I said, who trained you? He goes, Herb. I said, go to Herb. Herb goes, I didn't have the answer. I said, Herb, who trained you? He goes, Sally. I said, go to Sally. And so what happened was they started to depend on each other. And so what was fascinating is that the lesson learned, the third E is empowerment. Train them, and more importantly, had them train others. Be responsible to others and to be there for others. When I found that by empowering them with the knowledge, they're going to share it.
Yeah.
Help them master their own destiny by using the three E's for efficiency. And it's not just the technology, it's empathy, engagement, and empowerment. So that's the story of Bongo, the chimp.
So, Ed, I'm hearing throughout this, though, it's about communication, and it's the two-way street of the communication. It's not just one way. And I've noticed that when you and I get to work together, when we call on customers together, that there's a lot of listening that goes on in our conversations with our customer. Well, as usual, Ed, blow me out of the water. I look forward to the next one. We'll say goodbye for now, and we'll come back with another one. Bye, everybody.
See y'all. Take care.